The President, please be seated. The court is now in session, and we would like to proceed by hearing the testimony of TCW 752. Mr. Evidentiary, please report to the chamber whether this witness is in a relationship with an accused or civil party or not, or whether the witness had taken an oath already. Evidentiary, thank you, Mr. President. The witness confirmed that the witness is not in a relationship with an accused or a civil party in the proceedings. The witness already took the oath this morning. The witness will be assisted by Jury Counsel Moon Sovan. The President, thank you, Mr. Evidentiary. Court officer is now directed to bring in the witness. The President, good afternoon, Mr. Witness. What's your name, please? Response. Mr. President, I am Ong Chat. Question. Mr. Ong Chat, how old are you? The President, Mr. Ong Chat, please observe some pause before you proceed to respond to my questions and questions put by the parties to the proceeding. Only when the red mic is activated, rather the red light is activated on the mic, that your message will be conveyed through interpreting into English and French. By that, you are asked to observe some pause, please. Question again, how old are you? Response, I am 62 years old. Question, where do you live? Response, I live in Posat province. Question, Mr. Ong Chat, what do you do for a living? Response, I am a farmer. Question, can you tell the chamber your parents' names and your wife's name and how many children you have? Response, I have 5 children. The President, what are your parents' names? Response, my father is Mao Chit. The President, what about your mother's name? Response, she is Tan Bon. Question, what is your wife's name? Response, she is Mut Saim. The President, thank you, Mr. Ong Chat. According to the report by the greffier of the trial chamber, you are not in a relationship with an accused or a civil party in these proceedings. And according to the same report, you already took the oath. Is that true? Response: yes, it is. The President, now the Chamber would like to notify you of your right under Rule 28, right against self-incrimination of witnesses. As a witness, you may object to making any statement that might tend to incriminate you. In other words, you have the right not to incriminate yourself. And as the witness, you shall respond to all questions put to you by the judges of the bench or parties to the proceeding, unless in your responses you believe that the content can be self-incriminating. And as the witness, you shall tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And this must be based on your experiences, what you saw, and what you learned. Mr. Ong Chat, have you ever given any interviews to the co-investigating judges or investigators of the Office of Co-investigating Judges during the last few years? If so, where were the interviews conducted? Response: I gave interviews to these people on 2 occasions. Question: where were the interviews conducted and when were they carried out? Response: I do not remember the exact date, but first, the interview was conducted in my hometown, and secondly, it was conducted in Posat province. Question: before you appear before the chamber, have you read or been read out or review the statements you gave before the co-investigating judges to refresh your memory or not? Response: no, I haven't, Mr. President, because I have not been told on which points questions would be made to me or put to me. The President, that's not my question to you. What I am asking is that whether you have read the documents regarding the statements you gave to the investigators a few years ago before you appear before this chamber, or have you ever been read out these documents to you again to refresh your memory? Response: yes, I have read the documents again, Mr. President, briefly. The President, according to the best recollection and having read the documents again, were the contents of the documents consistent with the statements you once on 2 occasions gave before the co-investigators? Response: I remember the points I stated before the co-investigators are still relevant and consistent after I have read them. The President, Next, the Chamber would like to hand over to the co-prosecutors to put questions to the witness before the other parties. You may proceed. Co-prosecutor. Thank you, Mr. President, and Your Honors, and very good afternoon to the bench, and good afternoon to Mr. Witness. I am Song Chawan, National Co-Prosecutor, and my colleague on my right-hand side is Mr. Keith Rayner, and we will be putting some questions to you today. I would be putting some questions first. The first question is, when did you start joining the revolution, and where was it? Response. I do not remember the exact year I joined the revolution, but it was in 1972 or 73, because the exact date could not be well remembered as I had to move places and I was recruited during this period of time. Question. Do you remember the location when you joined the revolution? Response. Yes, I do. It was in the same province, Posat. Question. What did you do when you joined the revolution? Were you joining the revolution as a soldier? If so, do you remember who your commander was? Response. The village and commune authority recruited me in the army to serve the army. Question. Do you recall in which division or section of the military you were part? Response. It was a low-level military unit in Sector 7, and it was a commune military section in Sector 7. The President, can the civil parties please maintain court order and please be quiet? The President, co-prosecutor, you may continue, but before that, the Chamber wishes to inform Mr. Witness, Mr. Chat. We understand that you may have to visit the bathroom frequently, and indeed if you feel the need to go to the bathroom, just tell the Chamber, then you will be allowed to do that. Co-prosecutor. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Ong Chat. In 2009, you gave interview to the co-investigators. I'm referring to document D125/176. In that document, the first question the co-investigators asked you is, prior to 1975, where did you live and what did you do? And you said, in 1971, I worked as a soldier, or I was in the Khmer Rouge Army since 1971 until after the liberation on 17th of April 1975, at which time I was discharged. The Khmer Rouge Army liberated Posat province on 19 April 1975. The division commander then was Ta Klang. I was a platoon chief in charge of 30 troops in Ta Klang division. My division attacked and entered Posat through Tulpo Chri. After we had arrived in Posat provincial town, my unit was assigned to guard the Posat provincial headquarters, and my unit was in charge of removing goods from the market. Do you remember who ordered you to remove goods from the market? Response: I was ordered by the commander of my company. We were asked to just ask the people to leave the market. Question: do you remember who he was and what he said when ordering you regarding this? Response: the persons by the names of Thơi and Saram ordered this. After that, they withdrawn the troops. Question: you mentioned about Thơi and Saram. What did they do? Response: they were the commanders of the company. Question: were they both co-commanders, or were they one was commander and another deputy commander? Response: these two people were equally powerful at that company. I don't know whether any of them was actual commander, although they had the same power. Question: do you know where the company led by Mr. Saram would be stationed? Response: I don't know, but they would come to the meeting and introduce themselves. That was the one occasion I heard and knew about them before they left for Mong Rasay district. Question: do you still remember where you received order from Thơi and Saram? Response: I received the order at the provincial hall when the meeting was conducted. Question: was the order rendered in a meeting session attended by several members, or were you there alone? Response: I do not remember the number of the participants because all people from my platoon attended the meeting. And after the order was rendered, troops or participants returned to Mong, and I made a request to my senior soldier to allow me to return home, and I returned home. Question. You mentioned about a meeting where order was rendered to remove the market. Do you still remember the motive behind this order, and when was the market removed? Response. The meeting was conducted in closed session, and in the meeting we were asked to move villagers from their houses, and we were told to tell the people to only bring away with them something they could carry, because they would not be leaving their houses for a long period of time. Question. After the order was rendered to remove the house, how soon was the order implemented? Response. The order was implemented immediately the following morning at 7 a.m. Question. What was the name of that market? Response. We had to focus our attention on our prime target of duty, so the market was small, and we were in charge of patrolling and telling people on a stretch of about 100 meters. So any houses that fell within this block would be under our duty to tell them to leave their homes. Question. Do you remember the name of that market? If you do, please tell the chamber. Response. It's called Posat Market. Response. Question. What did you do to ensure that your message could be conveyed to the people to move or to leave their houses when removing the market? Response. And one of the groups, another group indeed, was using a loud speaker, and I would be walking, following them, but I was not armed. Question. Do you know the purpose behind the order to remove goods from the market? Response. The commodities at the market were not removed. People were asked to leave, and I don't know what happened after that, because the next day after the order was carried out, I had to go back to my base. Question. Under the same record that I just read out to you, you also state that the Khmer Rouge soldiers liberated Posat province on the 19th of April 1975. Can you tell the chamber what did you do and where were you during this period of time? Response. On the 19th of April, I entered this provincial town at the provincial hall. Question. Did you also receive order to evacuate the Posat provincial town dwellers? Response: No, I didn't. I was on duty to guard at the provincial hall, and I am not aware of the evacuation of the people engaged in the evacuation. Question: Can you tell the chamber how you knew that people were evacuated on the 19th of April 1975? Response: On the 19th of April 1975, people were not yet evacuated. It was not until the morning of 20th of April 1975 when people were evacuated. People were evacuated by surprise because no information was informed to them in advance, and people who were tasked with evacuating the people would then be on duty respectively according to each and every unit concerned. Question: Is it fair to say that people would be told the evening before the evacuation took place, or I can be mistaken? Response: In the evening, we received order in the meeting from the commander. In the morning, we started to disseminate information in the market. We did not tell the people the evening before the evacuation took place.
And in the evening, you said you had received an order. What was the order all about? Response: The order was about the instruction from the upper authority. We had to do as what they instructed, and we must not challenge the order. We had to comply with the order. So I would like you to expand on this order. Of course, you have received an order, and I believe that you said others also received an order as well, that they would be summoned to the meeting the next day. Was that correct? Response: All of us received orders from this unit, and those who had to attend the meeting was aware of that, and they had to prepare themselves to attend the meeting. And at that time, they also learned that they were not forced to attend this meeting, but they had to attend it anyway. Question: Who issued this order? Response: Comrade Thơi and Sarim were the ones who made the comment in relation to these orders. Question: In the order, did it mention what would be the consequence if people did not turn up in the meeting? Response: In the order, it convened people for the meeting. And in the morning, if people did not or failed to attend, then they would take a different measure, and that would be dealt with when they came back from the meeting. Question: So you also said that there was a plan or a measure for those who failed to turn up for the meeting. Who was responsible for taking the measure? Response. That I was not told as to who was supposed to take the measure. That was a executive affair of the authority at that time. I was only aware of my unit. I did not know whose authority or which authorities would take on the measure if anything did not follow the plan. Question. Do you recall the period required to evacuate people out of Posat province? How long did it take to evacuate all the people out of the provincial town? Response. To my recollection and knowledge, it did not take long. It lasted for about 1 or 2 days or so. All people were emptied of the town. And then I did not pay any attention to it afterward. I only noticed that the town was empty after a few days. And as for my unit, I was supposed to guard the provincial hall. Then I was not allowed to go anywhere else, so I only knew the place or the area where I guarded. Did you see any other soldiers? Or Lon Nol soldiers, rather? A response. Well, at that time, I did not see Lon Nol soldier per se because I did not see them in Lon Nol soldier uniform. I stayed there for about 2 or 3 days. I saw people from the Lon Nol regime, and they, of course, transported Lon Nol official on trucks, and they were taken to the provincial hall. They attended a meeting in the provincial hall, and upon the completion of the meeting, they left and they were taken back on the trucks. And I did not know what the meeting was all about because I was not told of its substance. Question. So, to your knowledge, why did they evacuate people out of Posat, and where were they supposed to be evacuated to? Response. The average civilians at that time had to leave the provincial town by themselves. Nobody designated any particular direction for them to do. Some of them got on the trucks and they left the city, and some went out of the city on foot, and they just left the provincial towns on different directions. Some left northward of Posat province to Tulpo Chray. That's what I witnessed at that time. Question. Do you know the reason behind the evacuation of people out of Posat provincial town? Response. That I do not know. I do not know the politics behind the evacuation. I was with the army, so I never attended the policy meeting concerning the evacuation of people or what people were supposed to do. That I was not aware of because I was in a lower level rank. I was carrying gun. I was supposed to carry out my duty as I was assigned to. So I was not informed of that. And at that time, I was rather happy because I knew that the country were at peace already because we have already won the war. Question. In the course of evacuation, what was the overall conditions of people being evacuated out of the town? Were they in the state of fear, or they were happy being evacuated? Response. At the time, people asked me about their belongings, which they left behind in the city, or would they be returned to them after they returned back? And I told them that, well, I was a lower ranking official. I did not know whether or not those belongings would be returned to them, or they would allow to take those belongings later on. And I did not notice at all at that time whether or not people would leave the city for a long time. And I noticed that people were leaving the city without any noticeable grim impression. Question. When people were leaving the provincial towns, were they allowed to bring their belongings along, or there was any order for them not to bring many stuff along with them? Response. According to the order, people were not allowed to bring any heavy stuff with them. For example, anything that is very heavy, they cannot bring along with them. But they, of course, can bring clothes and some cash money or any jewelry with them. Question. In the course of evacuation, was there any clear division between ordinary civilians and former Lonol soldiers? Were there any segregation or division of evacuees at the time? Response. According to the announcement made through loudspeaker, there was no indication whatsoever concerning the division of evacuees. They only told the evacuees that they had to go to different directions, particularly back to their hometown. So husbands and wives would go along with each other to any direction out of the city. Question. To your knowledge, do you know where the people were heading for at that time, and were they soldiers or civilians? Did you ask them when they were leaving the city? Response. To my knowledge, when they were walking along the main road, I saw a crowd of people, and I could not distinguish who were civilians, who were soldiers, because at that time they did not wear army uniforms. All of them wore civilian uniforms, and people were crowded along the street. I could hardly know who was who, and I do not actually know who were the soldiers and who were civilians at the time. Question. Mr. Witness, in your statement you provided to OCIG D125/76 on question number 2, I read out earlier, the investigator asked you at that time, following the liberation of Posat on the 19th of April 1975, what did you do and where? And I would like to quote this statement. Before I was sent to Mong after the deliberation for 10 days, they rounded up Lonol soldier, and they were placed in Posat Provincial Hall. My unit was not tasked to round up those Lonol soldiers and officials. My unit was tasked to guard the provincial headquarters. So my question for you to expand on this issue, you said Lonol soldiers were rounded up and they were placed in provincial hall. So my question to you, where did they round up those people? Response. That I do not know exactly where they were taken from. When I was guarding the compound, I only noticed that former Lonol soldiers were taken into the provincial hall in trucks, and at that time the investigator asked me whether or not they were soldiers, and I said I guess they could be soldiers because I saw some of them, and some of my relatives knew them as well, that most of them were soldiers and some were civilian. And they went to the provincial hall in order to attend the meeting, and that meeting lasted for 3 or 4 hours or so. And I did not pay attention on the content of the meeting at that time. But following the meeting, there was a direction from the upper authority that they would take those people for re-education or for a study session somewhere along Tonle Sap river. It was somewhere along Tonle Sap. And I did not even bother to ask them what the subject matter or study they would be attending or so. But I asked other people near or close to me that what they would be studied. And they say, if they went to study, they would stand a chance of being promoted to a higher rank. Question. So when they told a former Lonol soldier to go to attend the training or to the study session or so, how did they go there? Response. At that time, those soldiers were gathered in the provincial hall, and then after that they were taken out by trucks. Some of them came by smaller trucks, and some were on bigger trucks, and some even came there by their own means, by own vehicles. And then after the meeting, they left the provincial hall either on the trucks or their own cars. So, and there were also other cars accompanying those fleet of trucks as well, transporting them out of the provincial hall. Question. You said following the meeting, those soldiers got on the trucks and then they left the provincial hall. Do you know where they were heading for? And to your recollection, I don't know if you can recall it, but how many people were all together at that time? Response. According to what I witnessed, I only saw that there were many trucks carrying loads of people. I did not have a watch with me. I did not know where they were heading for. I only knew that they only went to attend the study session. I actually did not bother to question further as to what they would be studying. Question. I would be dealing with this matter further, but I would like to go back a little bit. Just now you said that some of them left the provincial hall on their own vehicle and some left on the truck that they came with to the meeting. So my question to you, how many trucks were there to your recollection, and were there any Khmer Rouge trucks over there to take them out? Response. I actually did not know whether or not those trucks belonged to the Khmer Rouge. I could not distinguish between the Khmer Rouge truck or the Lon Nol soldier truck. I only noticed that there were black truck and green truck and different kinds of trucks, and including some sedan cars as well. And as for the Khmer Rouge cars, probably it was quite similar to those of the Lon Nol soldiers' cars as well, but I cannot really distinguish. Question. How many Lon Nol soldiers, to your estimation, got on board the truck and left the provincial hall for the study session as you describe it? Response. I do not recall it exactly because I was not the one in charge of keeping the record of the people, but I only knew that it took around 1 hour or 2 hours or so for people to really get on the truck and then left. And all of them did not actually wear military uniform. They only have the plain civilian clothes on them, and then they left. And I cannot really distinguish whether or not there were soldiers and civilians and how many of them altogether. Mr. Witness, on the same document and statement you provided to the investigator of the OCIJ, down below your statement, question number 3, the question asked when you were assigned to guard the provincial hall, how many Khmer Rouge soldiers did you see? And you answered, quote, according to my estimation, there were approximately 200 Khmer Rouge Lon Nol soldiers because it was crowded in the provincial hall at that time. End quote. So you told the investigator that based on your estimation, there were approximately 200 Lon Nol soldiers. How did you come up with this estimation? Response. Well, at that time, the investigator asked me, and I tried to provide an estimated numbers of people over there. And then, according to the size of the provincial hall, I thought that when it is fully packed, it was about 200 or so people. Question. Is my understanding correct that these 200 people you estimated, you base your statement on the size of the hall that can accommodate up to around 200 people or so? Response. Yes, this is based on, this is the basis for my estimation, the size of the hall. Question. How about the elements of people attending the meeting according to your own observation when you were guarding the compound? Did you know anyone at all by name or by whatever identity of the people attending the meeting as they left afterward? Are you referring to those who attended the meeting at that time or the soldiers from Lon Nol regime? Prosecutor, I will try to rephrase my question. You said that there were former Lon Nol soldiers attending the meeting on the day. So following the meeting, they left the hall. Do you know or recognize anyone who attended the meeting? Did you know or recognize anyone either by names or any other identity? Response. No, I did not know. I was a soldier myself, but I was a soldier stationed out of the city before I was asked to come to guard the provincial hall. I was stationed in the countryside, so I did not know those officials. Thank you, Mr. Witness. In your statement with the Office of Co-Investigating Judges on the same document, down below in question number 5, they ask you whether or not you knew any Lon soldier. And in your answer, you say you know Mr. Paul, who was the regiment commander in Tulpo Chray. He came to attend the meeting, and you also were on the track with him. So my follow-up question on this issue, when did you come to know Paul? The President. Witness, please hold on. National Counsel for Mr. Kyu Sampon, you may proceed. Counsel Kong Samon. Thank you, Mr. President. I simply wish to make a small correction in the record of the statement of the witness. The man the prosecutor was mentioning was not Paul, but his name was Pil. Prosecutor, thank you. So my question for you, is it was he Pil or Paul? Can you please clarify this? And then when did you come to know him? Well, his name was Pil. I got to know him when he was leading a regiment in his barrack. I got to know him when we were in my village when I was a monk. At that time he went there. He was the regiment commander, so he was an important person. So he went to the pagoda. Then I got to know him, that he was a commander, the biggest person in the troop at that time when he went there. Question: how often did you meet Pal, at least before the meeting held in the provincial hall of Pusat province? Response: no, I did not meet him before that. He was a soldier and he had his own duty. He was designated to a certain direction. I did not actually meet him, but he got on the truck with other soldiers to attend the meeting. That's what I knew.
Question regarding the Lon soldiers. Soldiers who left the meeting convened at the provincial town hall. You said the soldiers were taking both trucks and cars to the study session. Do you know what had become of the soldiers after the meeting? Response: they went to the meeting and disappeared. Only empty trucks and cars would return to the province. No soldiers other than the Khmer soldiers were seen on the tracks. I don't know what happened to them. The President. Thank you co-prosecutor and Mr. Witness, it is now already appropriate moment for the adjournment. The Chamber wishes to inform the co-prosecutors and civil parties that you will be allocated a half day for putting questions to this. 1/4 of the allocated time for this half day has already been used, and co-prosecutor will have another quarter. And the chamber will adjourn today, and next session will be resumed tomorrow at 9 a.m. For tomorrow's sessions, the chamber will continue hearing the testimonies of Mr. Ong Chat. Questions going to be put by the co-prosecutors before the and then the legal lawyer for the civil parties before the defense counsels. Mr. Ong Chat, your testimony is not yet complete. We would like you to return to the courtroom tomorrow before 9 a.m. Court officer is now directed to assist Mr. Ong Chat by coordinating with the Wesu unit so that Mr. Ong Chat is very well assisted during the adjournment, and that he returned to the courtroom by 9 a.m. Jury counsel is also asked to come back. Security personnel are now directed to bring Mr. Kyusumpon and Noon Jie to the detention facility and have them return to the courtroom tomorrow by before 9 a.m. Mr. Noon Jie is directed to return to the holding cell only, where he is allowed to observe the proceedings from there through audio-visual link. The court is adjourned.
សូមក្រោកឈរ